how you doing? It's Ravie Davie here, the Fresh Prince of Drummond Square, and I'm joined with my partner,
Georgia.
And this is episode 35 of the 10 Years In podcast. How you doing, Hen?
I was ready to say it's episode 36.
It's no, that's in an hour. That's after we finish this.
Aye.
Not, I mean, I take my jumper off the kid on, it's a different week, not
Oh,
that.
we can't do that.
Aye,
I've
you
not got
can.
to change your clothes.
Well, would you need to take your cardigan off?
No, because the arms of stress is choking me.
Well, you give my jumper in.
No.
You give me my jumper in the wee hoodie like that, you sit like that, man, you put your
both
hood up.
matching colours.
I know, it's cute.
Oh, that was unintentional.
We're also wearing matching pants. Nothing.
Wow. You always know like how to take it too far.
Raise the lower the tone.
Raise the tone.
Lower the tone.
So yes, welcome back. It's episode 35. And I'm just fresh back from Prague, and David is just fresh being a stepdad for real life for the last 4 days.
4 days, aye, man.
Who was it?
Georgia opened the microwave yesterday to blow mouldy curry.
Honestly, that was so bad. So right now we're recording a wee bit later, just the days in it are mixed up this week, but so bearing in mind that food had been left in the microwave, opened like in its plate, Bo had ate food, didn't finish it all, and they've put it in the microwave.
Friday night.
And I went to put David's food in there last night until I get in for work, and there was chips, rice, everything, all blue mould or the top of it. I was like, oh my God, David, like how long has that been in there for?
It's not that the best bit, but it is a pure remember as well. See, on the Saturday night, so Bo wanted to eat it on Saturday morning for his breakfast. And I was like, on you go, wee man. Not I mean, like, let's do it. But then on the Saturday morning, he'd stayed up pure late with his pals. And obviously, he was pure sleeping in. And obviously, I ended up being rushing about, not and all. I was like getting him up, not. So we would sleep in. And then later on, we're walking home, and he goes, oh, I forgot to eat my Chinese for breakfast. Can I eat that tonight? And I was like, nah, mate, we'll just bin that. And then obviously, I never proceeded to bin it. I left it there.
So bad.
I can't imagine it, to be fair.
See,
Like, showed me the picture, to be fair. It'd purely be
like, see if you've got to eat like leftover stuff, you need to at least cover it. Like, you should have put it in a Tupperware. You can't just leave it unopened. Like,
for the night till you can leave it for night to the morning.
But the rice would be all hard.
That's what you wanted to do.
I know,
That's
but
that's part of growing up as a child, not I mean, like, learning stuff like that.
Well, I'll give you a wee learn as well. So when I came home...
Learn? What do you mean a wee learn? A wee lesson?
I've been teaching you many lessons over the years, right? But one that I learned from when I came back from Prague, Bo on Monday morning asked me for a cup of tea. I ain't bother because in the cupboard there's no cups. And I'm like, Bo, where's all the cups away? And he's like, oh, they're on my room. And I'm like, right, okay. Goes upstairs, closes Bo's room door. Behind the door, there's a set of drawers. All the cups for the kitchen with like full cups of tea in them. I said, but why did you ask David for all these cups of tea if you weren't drinking any of them? He says, no, it wasn't that I didn't want them. It was just because David was asking me if I wanted tea, then forgot that he'd asked me. And then he didn't actually make me tea till we were ready to leave the house. It was too hot for me. So I didn't actually drink any of them. I was like, that just really sums up just now.
Why did you not tell me?
Well, I don't know.
I feel like if he told me one of the days that he didn't drink his tea because it took too long, it would have been like ingrained in my mind, and I made sure to have it for him. Not
so
just because we're juggling about so many stuff, obviously. Then
exactly what I try and tell
I don't ever say that I don't appreciate what you do. Obviously, it's amazing what you do. You know what I mean? I'm not saying that.
See, David said to all the wrestlers. So I came home on Sunday night. My flight got into Glasgow at 10 o'clock. By the time I'd made it down to the church, the ring and that was all getting put away for the 2 shows that we had. You all right?
It's obviously the camera will be looking at you when he's edited that.
I hope so.
I'd write a buzzer to it, sorry.
Yeah,
I couldn't go through 2 episodes if it's scratching my balls there, so I thought I'd just get it away, man. Since you've mentioned, I'll get an wee.
Disgusting.
Make sure it's singly. You want to smell it?
No. You're vile, honestly.
I actually just went for a shower before we went in, before we came here, because I'm that tired, right, that I was sitting at my wee shed drinking a cup of tea. And I've like,
you can feel yourself.
We've actually done a Santa cup now, because
you dropped it.
It dropped and smashed all the place, and all the tea went on my legs and all that, man.
Oh my God. So I
actually probably will fall asleep today, man. I'm actually shattered. I feel like since we got the keys to the church of wrestling, I've not had 6 hours sleep.
I think that's probably right, but most of that's on you, so I've got no sympathy because you keep playing Football Manager for hours at a time.
I'm done with that.
Honestly, it's like a wee toxic relationship you've got with Football Manager.
So I need to play Football Manager now anyway. If I wanted to go and play my PlayStation, I can, because if I had to get to Bo and all, fucking thing it's happened this weekend with bro's play. I broke Bo's PlayStation, man, like an idiot. Because obviously we all that we were doing, I had them set up. So on Saturday, a wrestler from England, Luke Jacobs, one of the best wrestlers in Europe, came up for some seminars before the shows on Sunday, and this was planned way in advance, even before Georgia had done had the stag do or the hen do or whatever you want to call it. I keep calling it stag do because Prague, and you're like, oh, I'm going on my Prague do, you know what I mean? Like, that's like a thing, so I keep calling it a stag do, even though I know it's a hen do. But anyway, what was I saying there? Aye. So on the Saturday I had Bo all day. I was running to wrestling school from 9 o'clock to 9 o'clock basically, and obviously Bo, that's a long time for him, so I decided I'll bring his PlayStation and I can set it up and he can play his game. We'll bring his wee pal Kenzie can stay and they can play the computer while I go doing the training and stuff. And then at one point we just had too many plugs in, it's flicked a switch somewhere, but I'm obviously just new in the building, so I don't know quite where to find the switch that had been flipped. So I was like, I'll just take it and I'll put it in somewhere else. So as I'm taking the PlayStation out, it's ripped the HDMI cable, and I went and got Xander to bring in the HDMI cable, I got Steg to bring in one, I used one that I had, and none of them would work, so I had to run back round to my house to get my PlayStation to play it so Bo could play it and not be miserable.
Oh, honestly.
Fair play, to be fair, he's usually a wee moany bastard when you do something that affects his wee world, man, but he didn't complain too much about it, he was just going like,
He probably could tell you were stressed.
Aye, definitely.
So on Sunday, when I came home to pick up Bo for the church, at this point it was like after 11 at night, and I thought, God, I've been away for days, I'm going to start helping, so I'm carrying in all the boxes and stuff. And a couple of the wrestlers shouted on me and they were like, Georgia, I don't think that Davie would maybe run a show if you weren't here next time again. And I said, how? He's like, well, he's just been a bit stressed all day. He like too many jobs. And then I said to David, oh, are you stressed? He's like, I've told all of them. They weren't to tell you
fucking
how it all went. He's like, because I didn't want you to know that I was pure stressed out.
No, no, it's no, I don't care. I don't even care about you knowing that I'm stressed out. What I said was, right, is you've kind of, you don't like wrestling. Wrestling's not your passion, it's my passion, right? So you've been forced into doing this, right? It affects your life quite a lot. And I don't want it to affect your life to the point where if you've got other things that you can do, if you get a chance to go on holiday with your ma or something like that, or something comes up and there's a wrestling show, I don't want you going like that, or I can't leave. You know what I mean? I need to be bestowed to this wrestling show. You know what I mean? When there's obviously stuff in your life, you obviously still want to do with your man. That, you know what I mean? So that's me what I was saying. What I would say is like, the line and all, because I would run a wrestling show here. I maybe when you run 2 in the one day, that probably won't ever happen again. You know what I mean? I'll not be running 2 in the one day.
Which you were told about.
No, I think it was actually, it was more if you were there, it would have been fine. I know it was more the fact that I was there doing every single job under the sun.
Yeah.
While also trying to train people up to do jobs for me.
I know. It's dead difficult, isn't it?
Aye.
It is actually.
You're saying that, so next site, you're saying it's how difficult it is. So next time, I'll go and chill for the weekend and you can do all the wrestling stuff as well, right? Come out and wrestle a match as well and all that and make sure it's well promoted.
I wouldn't like to embarrass you. I'd be better than you.
Fuck, see, took one bump and nearly gave yourself fucking...
That's because I hadn't practiced. Wee bit of practice, so I'd be off. Right?
Right, fair enough.
But anyway, I'm proud of you for doing it.
It was good. It was
won't be
stressful.
happening again.
No, it definitely won't be. I'd even want it to happen again.
But anyway, I'm going to give you the lowdown on Prague.
Right, go tell
Some
us.
things I've told you, some things I haven't told you because I wanted to wait for the moment. No pepper.
No pepper.
Which was the phrase of the weekend. So I was in Prague for my sister's Hen Do, as you know. We've kept this a secret for months. Months and months and months this group chat has been going, and we get to the airport at 5 o'clock last week, and Shannon, my sister, wanted to do a theme of shite shot night. And normally I think what's meant to happen, what Shannon was saying was, for instance, would buy one for David would buy one for Curtis, and we would all swap the shots, then people would put them on, it would be a surprise. But my mum had went out to Partick and she just bought everybody a shite shot. She wrapped them all up in Christmas paper and hid them all in her hand luggage. So as soon as we've got to the airport, we were waiting on Shannon's pal coming, and she had made a balloon that Shannon was to pop to gear the destination, which was the big reveal. But whilst we're waiting on our pal, my mum starts giving everybody their shite shot present, and Shannon says, where are we wearing these? Because obviously at this point Shannon's thought she's got to be having to wear a shite shirt in the airport. And I went like that in Prague and literally had told Shannon before the balloon had got there, and I felt so bad.
What did Shannon say when you
said that? So I actually had to go into the toilet cubicle and sit myself, and I was like, oh, I'm so annoyed. She was like, it's all right. And then she had to pop the balloon and kid onto her pal that she didn't actually know. But then she ended up telling her. She was like, look, Jordan, we were waiting on you, and Georgia told us where the destination was. I was so frustrated at myself. But anyways...
Yeah, it's just, I've been thinking, I thought fashion feet instead when she went to cat, just about the cat on my bag, you'd be wearing it in my bag, not I'll be caring about you this weekend because you'd be fucked.
No, because I went into an instant rage at myself because I was so frustrated and nothing was going to hide the look in my face. And Shannon was like, it's all right. And I was like, no, because this is so annoying. So anyways, we get to Prague. The flight's only like 2 hours as well, which was really, really good. And we were all having a good time. We were there Thursday to Sunday. And the Thursday was quite good. We were jumping on and after trams and stuff and just doing a bit of sightseeing. Everything in Prague, all the big sightseeing stuff you can walk to, which was brilliant. Like, everything was close. We got to do absolutely everything that we'd saw on TikTok and stuff that was dead popular. On the Friday, we got absolutely steaming. And I mean, like, actually steaming. I was swaying from side to side to side. That was when, if you've got me on TikTok, you saw me, that I ordered basically the full McDonald's menu. My mum was pure shouting at me, but I was cancelling the orders, and then more food was coming over because I obviously wasn't cancelling them what I thought I was doing. And then it was like a bench we were sitting on that had just like a wall facing against it like that, just a bench along. And it was like a sea of food. There was only 4 of us, and it was like a sea of just chips everywhere. And I was getting put out of trouble because I couldn't stop ordering more meals. My mum was like, Georgia, it was like a buffet. She went, I was taking a bit of one burger and putting that back and then grabbing the other one and just kept, like, there honestly was food everywhere, but that was so funny. We were in like an Irish bar and it had like live singing and they were just playing like good music and stuff. There was loads of like stag do's, lots of Scottish people that were on our flight had done a wrestling theme. The guy showed us the photo, but we never saw them. We saw them on the flight, obviously, and the guy was a DJ. He was called DJ Haggis, Neeps and Tatties, and he was from Clydebank. And Ali,
DJ Haggis, Neeps and Tatties.
Ali was calling him DJ Mince and Tatties. And so he was just chatting away to us and that, and he said that they'd done a wrestling theme. But anyways, on the after eating...
So were the dressed as wrestlers calling the...
No, nobody was. I don't think you're really... in fact, no, a guy was dressed in a dress when we went on the flight. He had like a blonde wig and that on. But, so, what was I going to say there? After I ate all that McDonald's, I couldn't stop being sick. And this went on for the Friday night. My mum said we get into the hotel about 12:05, and I was still being sick till like the next morning. And then I was sleepwalking. Right, so I was sharing a room with Shannon's pal Sarah and Brooke, and I told them that I sleepwalk, but didn't actually. I failed obviously to tell them that sometimes I scream. I actually scream in my sleep as if I'm being murdered or if somebody's been murdered, and I've been doing this for years.
George, I can't tell when you walk into a room the difference between you walking into the room and somebody murdering them.
Well, right. So this really. So basically, what I done was woke up. The hotel room that we were in. The hotel was cracking for how cheap it was. But when you shut the curtains over, it was like really, really, really dark. Like you couldn't see it. And where I've jumped up at the bed thinking that somebody was in the room, which I do all the time, I felt the flare and then was like screaming. Sarah said I was screaming with my hands up as if I was praying. And her and Brooke have like flew up at the bed, right? They were actually said they were shaking, they couldn't get back to sleep. And I was trying to tell them what I was dreaming about, and they were saying, listen, like, we don't want to know what just happened there. Like, they were like, if something has scared you that much, just go back to sleep. They said that they couldn't get back to sleep. They didn't want to put the lights out, but I just rolled down, went back to sleep and started snoring. Let them just went into a complete deep sleep. But I proper freaked them out, and they were like really worried about me. And I was like that. And the next, because Shannon was like, Georgia, you better go to the doctors. And I was like, Shannon, I've been doing this for years. This happens in my house all the time. And David just tells me to shut up and get sleep.
you go, shush, man, you're sleeping. And you're sleeping, Georgia, lie down. Who are you talking to?
I like argue back.
I start arguing. I feel like she does it right. She gets it. She does her mad thing right, and then I tell her to stop it. And then she's still kind of half sleeping and she tries to argue me, so she starts going, And then she realises shit, what I'm doing, she's a bit embarrassed. She's like at me, shut up. What?
It's so true. It's weird because I can remember
shut up,
doing
man.
it.
I'm like, George, you're doing that thing again, fucking your head down, and you go,
I got in a pure mood, right?
I'm like, what have I done? I've told you to go back to sleep, man. Like, What's the problem?
It's as if I'm like trying to argue that I'm actually no sleepwalking when I
That's
clearly
what
am.
it is.
But I know that I'm doing it, but I can't stop. It's so weird. But anyway, the reason that this happens is because our house got broke into and
No, I get, no, I mean, I
David's got to get blamed for
shouldn't
this,
have
right?
brought it up. Well, no, I mean, I shouldn't have fucking said it. No, I mean, no, this is me back in the bad books, fucking hell.
So our house got broke into in 2018 and I was in the house myself up the stairs when the house was getting absolutely trashed, right? And it takes it back to a story where I used to ask David to lock the side door. He never ever done it because he said, I've stayed in this house since I've been wee. Nothing will ever happen. And something then happens. He can't take it, right? You look at he's in a wee mood, right? Because he gets frustrated at himself that he left the door unlocked and it was happened to me when I was there myself. And since then, I've been screaming like a loony in my sleep because I keep thinking it's going to happen again or the door's been left unlocked. And then it just completely freaks me out. So, do you get that way where when you speak to couples who've been out with each other for a long time, they say, we went through a rough patch. That was like the roughest patch of all was when I really could not believe that you just couldn't learn to lock the door and David couldn't learn that I was just being scared for nothing. What have you got to say?
My bad. Is he working on all, man? Just the way to work.
So David was, at the time, he was doing youth work and he used to work later at night because it was like in football pitches and stuff like that in Pollock, and the door had chapped and it was a pure loud chap. And I messaged him, it was the night before my birthday, and I says to him, like, are you at the door? And he was like, no, I'm just on my way home for work and my phone's about to die. And I said to him, well, somebody's mega banging the door. And the chat went on, and then the next thing, I never heard it. So I just thought, oh, they've obviously never wanted us, so went away. And then the next thing, I was just sitting on the bed and I just heard like these footsteps, and then I heard like the drawers like being flung open and shut and just things getting like flung everywhere. They had nothing at mine, to be fair. They were taking all your stuff. It was like your PlayStation and all that.
I must have been dragged out my gaming room, not.
Aye, because you had like at that time in David's nana's room, he had like his own like couch for your place, everything, all your own stuff in it, and they had all David's stuff. And I went to the top of the stairs and I shouted down hello. But at that time, it didn't even register me what was actually happening until when I shouted hello, I heard as if they'd like dropped everything and then they've obviously just ran away. But since then, although I'm not scared, like I can stay myself in that and I'm not scared, but whatever happens inside my head, I don't feel scared if you were to ask me, but when I'm going to sleep, it's like it's still there. Ali went like, oh, that's trauma.
That's trauma. To be fair, I think it was somebody that we must have known, you know what I mean? Because if it was just like a mad random junkie or somebody robbing, you know, they heard your voice, they left with the stuff.
Aye.
I feel like they ran away with the stuff.
Aye.
They obviously like, oh, we can't get caught here, you know what I mean? This will ruin us, you know what I mean? Shit, drop, run it.
I'd never ran away.
So
aye, but Sharon was like that to me, like, you need to go to the doctors and that. And I was like, well, I went to a counsellor because I worked in the bank at the time, and they give you like 6 free sessions if you need it for whatever reason. And at the time, I'd already used 3 sessions when my eczema was really, really bad. That was the time where I couldn't even like get out of bed. And then I had 3 sessions left to use. And I went back to the same woman and she was like, God, like, the chances of this happening to people in their life is really slim. But if it was ever to happen again, it's really, really slim. But I think that's where the false screaming comes from. But I proper freaked him out. We had went to a place in Prague called Thriller Park, which is basically like a dungeon that you go down to. Curtis is laughing because he probably saw that photo of me. So Shannon, my sister, we had planned all stuff for her, but when she knew she was going to Prague, she was going on and she was having a look at things that she wanted to do as well. So on Friday during the day before we were going on the boat trip, Shannon said that she wanted to go to this dungeon place called Thriller Park, and it's basically like you're in pitch black. And we'd actually went for one drink before we were gone because the Thriller Park wasn't open yet. We were too early, so we thought, we'll sit here and we'll have a drink. One drink turned into 5 drinks, right? We were actually steaming. And we started round to this place, and you have to sign a waiver to say that you're aware that these creepy clown guys will get right up in your face and they'll touch you, but you're not allowed to touch them. You need to sign to say that you're no claustrophobic. You need to sign to say that you're willing to crawl through like small pitch black tunnels. And you need to have good cardiovascular, because there'll be situations you need to pull yourself up a rope and all this stuff. So I was going, I don't know if this is for me, I don't know. And they were like, let's all just do it. So we all signed the waiver. I went in, so it was 4 days, and we're all holding hands. And the lassie who worked there said to us, there'll be a tiny, tiny wee red light up in the corner or somewhere. And when you see that, that's where you know you need to follow. So we've all went in, and as we went in and the door shut, grabbing onto each other, the lights just went right out straight away. And then the flare dropped. And we were all like, ah! Like actually screaming for the minute we get in there.
the flare dropped?
Like the flare, obviously it must have been like raised in a wee ledge, and it just like went down like that. Not a massive amount, but like dropped enough for you to like get a fright. And then we were all like, holding on to each other. And then you basically get taken into this wee tiny room, and the room has got all different doors in it. And basically every door you were going through, you ended up back in the room. So the place itself probably wasn't really that big, but you were going like through a wee maze and ended up back in. And then we'd been into 3 different doors. And then the next thing was just opened up. This big cloud just opened up and came like charging towards us. So we're all like fucking screaming. And the lights went out, and he was just standing like breathing on Shannon. And if you want, you were allowed to get out early, but if you got out early, you had to shout, "I am a chicken." And he was breathing right next to Shannon with the lights out. They 3 were in front of me. I was at the back, so I was like, I'm safe. Like, he's nowhere near me. And Shannon went, "I am a chicken." And then he put the lights on, and he went, "Just you." And she was like that. And Jordan was like, I'll come with you. So they left. And I said to Brooke, I can't do this. And she's like, hurry up. And when the lights were out, Brooke was pure steaming, shouting, "Ravie Davie's wifey Govin's here. We're not scared. I was like, shut up. Like, what the fuck? So she was like, right, let's just go. And he went like that. So he knew that they 2 were leaving, but he was standing like as close as us do. And he was like, right, you 2 in there. So we get sent into this wee bit, and as soon as the door shut, it was time to like crawl through the tunnel. And to crawl through the tunnel, you had to pull yourself up on a rope. You had to like pull up on a rope, and then you went into this wee tiny black tunnel. So Brooke's up ahead of me, and then I've climbed up from behind her, and as soon as I climbed up, a horn came straight out to like grab me. And I went, Gary, I need to get out of here. And Brooke was like, shut up, it's my fucking horn. And I was like, no, it's no. So it was the same guy, the same clown, right? And he was like that to me, just crawl through the tunnel, because at this point he was like, you've made it so far, like just keep going. And I ended up talking to this guy, this clown. I'm having a full scale conversation with him. I'm going, I can't, because you put your horn out, you nearly grabbed me there, and I'm too scared. And he was like, just crawl through the tunnel. And I was like, I can't. So he just stormed out, opened the door, and was like, right, come on out. And we went outside, and the lassie was like, you had went so far and all, like you should have just kept going. But I think it was because the tunnel was like tiny, and that way we just pulled ourselves up in these ropes. Brooke's legs were all skint and everything, and he was just in like this wee letterbox, and he just had his head right out, and he was like, no, his eyes and his horn out to grab me. I would honestly probably had a heart attack. The people that were in before us, they ran out the doors because they were obviously terrified. You could hear like big, like as if it's like big drills and all that were going off, just pure scary stuff. I wish I hadn't been as drunk, because I think I would have been able to calm myself down and be like, calm down, this isn't fucking real.
I'm not going to kill you, fuck's sake.
I know. But it's obviously that's the experience, but it was brilliant, honestly. So I would actually recommend it. I know but it was funny. I think if I'd have been there with you, you'd have been like, let's come on. But Brooke was like, come on. And Brooke was going like to me when we were leaving, I'm not scared of you. She wanted to stay herself. The guy must have been like, you're a Fruit Loop. She wanted to stay in herself, but she was like, I can't go through that tunnel myself. It was tiny. So I think it cost us, what much was it? Maybe about 30 odd quid to do it. That's and then good. Because we left early, we got all they probably sell the photos and the videos and all that to everybody, but because we left early, you got it all for free.
Religious?
Aye, because if you don't complete it, I guess they obviously give you it to give you your money back type thing. And then our names had to go up on the chicken board.
The chicken board.
Aye. So, but we done loads of sightseeing and stuff, because my mum and that were like, oh, would you come back? And I was like, I've done everything now. I said I would come back to show like David or something if you wanted to go back. because you could do the full thing in 48 hours. Like, flights dead short and all that and all. So I would go back. It was cheap enough. The hotel we were staying in was €17 a night. Like, people, we booked it as a package, but a guy, and no, two guys, sorry, were trying to check into the hotel, and the person on the reception said it's €17, and it was spotless. Like, it wasn't in the centre of Prague. That's maybe why it was a bit cheaper. But we were getting the tram in and out. And
I think Prague's a cheap country, but to be fair, Prague's a cheap city.
Oh, really? And we were getting the tram in. So I've been like on so many city breaks, me and you, right? And when I'm with you, you just tell me what to do and I follow. But on this trip, I was telling people what to do and they were following me. So I was the tour guide. That's why I'm not barely in any photos, because I was away ahead with my phone, like being like, where do I go? And
using your wee live view.
Aye. So, but in Prague, we went on the trams and didn't pay for tickets, which was very silly of us. And the ticket collector came along, the conductor, and asked us for our tickets, and we had to kid on, we couldn't understand a word he was saying. And we were like, no, we're going to pay when we got off. And he was like, no, 1,000, right? We thought he meant €1,000 were actually I was like, what have I done? I'm going to actually need to get all these people to pay £1,000 because of me. And it turns out it was only 1,000 Czech krona, which is like, I think it's like 30 odd quid or something cheap anyway, which basically covered us for the time that we'd been on the train. The taxis and all that were so cheap. I didn't really rate the food.
No.
None of us rated the food, to be honest. None of us ate food that we really, really enjoyed, apart from the last day. We had that Mexican.
Nachos, not.
And nachos, yeah. So I highly recommend it. I think we were just on good spirits because people
Tell
were
me your
saying,
story about your meeting.
oh, we were in this Irish pub and we were, I went outside to get Brooke and she was talking to these guys. Turns out one of them was a wrestler and there was about 6 of them. And she was like, oh, her partner, Ravie Davie's a wrestler. And they all went, oh, Ravie Davie. And these people were the French, you'll probably remember, with the German. They were German. And one of them was a wrestler. They all knew David, and actually one of the guys had trained at a wrestling camp with David before. I was like, what are the actual chances?
And then after that, you met other boys and you sent me a picture.
And they knew you and all.
Because that was the funny thing. This what I wanted. I didn't want to. I was talking so many stuff I didn't want to bring up to you. I didn't want to bring this up to you, right? So I put this into the group chat, right? For obviously you sending me the picture of these boys and that and going like that, oh look, sending on the videos like, look, these guys know me. And the boys seen it at a different angle. The boys are like, imagine you were on holiday, right? You're on a wee stag do or something like that, and you send your missus a wee video going like, look, this lassie knows you.
Happens to you all the time.
Cuddling into her and that, like, this lassie knows you. And like, annoyed or not, I feel like the boys were all saying it would go down a wee bit different, not
No,
be a bit of different.
You messaged me a few months ago saying you were on a flight to Dublin and the lassies in Glasgow airport all came up to me and said, they watched my videos?
I know, but obviously like, it was sending videos there, like you cuddling into a girl going like, oh look, this person knows you.
Nah.
I don't know.
No, I think it's because I'm so used to it. I just need to put up with... I mean, I was walking down the street in work the day and a lassie stopped me to say that she was starstruck because our wee boy who she was with loves Ravie Davie. So I get it all the time. Listen, I'm just...
Well, I put it in the chat. I want to put it to the viewers then. How would you feel, right, if you were a woman and your partner, or either way, vice versa, not only if your partner had sent you videos of people cuddling into your partner while on holiday and going like, this person knows you. How would you feel? How would it go down in your household?
You can't even compare it.
I don't mind it, to be fair. I'm saying, I was like, what he's talking about. Not
You've got like over 300,000 followers. Obviously, people are going to know you. I'm saying it's like it's a different... Yeah.
A different kettle of fish. Obviously people know me, but imagine I'd say it to you.
Obviously people know me. Oh, he's getting me under the table.
You actually thought I was trying to play footsie. Right,
so it was brilliant.
Let us know what you think of that. Would you be happy with your partner sending you messages, cuddling into the other guys and this person knows you?
I don't even think
also, not to be fair, man, Brooke was being a bit aggressive with that guy grabbing his beard and all that, know what I mean?
I know.
He's lucky he didn't pick it up and suplex or
the guy was like that to me, what is wrong with your friend? And I was like, I've got no idea why she's trying to bar you.
I know, poor guy, man.
But it was great. I actually don't even remember me sending you a photo with
the boy for Dumfries or something.
What was it?
They know you. How dare they, fuck's sake. Better know you.
I don't remember. I do better not know you. I was thinking about it with my mum and Ali made my experience for me, and Sarah, Shannon's pal. It was hilarious.
Yeah, I thought you had a good time before.
It was good, but I just wouldn't go again when there's a show on.
How?
Because it's just not got to happen. Probably had that no been my sister's Hen Do, I probably wouldn't have went to Prague.
Aye.
Just because there was so much stuff to do. I mean, I'd actually ironed all Bo's clays not before I went. I came home and all these ironed clays were all just hanging up. And I said, what did you know where any the clays for? He says, I didn't know they were there. I said, I told you.
He was picking, but every day he was pure proud of his punch. Like, I mean, look, I've got myself ready.
He said to me the other day,
And he was heavy, like early. Every day he was like up early and all that for school and all that. He was like up.
What is that?
That's what I say. On a Friday, I was like, mate, why do you not do this? Like every day? Because he was even up late that night. I know it wasn't even as late as I'd sent him to his bed early and like I was stayed up on the Thursday late and then he was up early and I was like, you alright? You alright? Me mummy dead, know what I mean?
Well, he doesn't do that with me. It's a full argument.
I know.
I need to pull the covers, rip the covers right off him.
Probably just because how excited he is for the full weekend. Not
Aye, maybe aye.
Up.
Yeah. But I blew moulded Chinese in the microwave.
Blue mouldy Chinese in the microwave, PlayStation ripped. Probably a couple of skid marks on both your boxers, not just his, know what I mean?
My mum says I can put money on it that not one person will be washed the full time you're away in your house. I was like,
no, he did definitely too. Did wash, I actually made sure, especially on the show that he got his self in a shower.
One day at the.
No, obviously every day we showered, but I made sure that I put at him. You'll shower on the day because you put it all day. And Amy was coming to the show and all that and all.
Oh, was it?
So,
was she? So you made sure he had the shower. So I like when David said he'd been stressed out because obviously he'd been watching Bo for 4 days and that's just the norm. But you had all these jobs.
And I was still doing my own job, still at flyering, still taking classes, still doing the housework, still leaving the dishes.
I said to Bo, is the house a pure mess? He went, well, it was, but David's done the dishes now and it was like every dish in the full house had been washed and were all stacked up on top of each other. It was as if I better do these because she's got to go mental. No,
I was actually thinking about you, to be fair, when you were sending me all these messages, man, about fucking people knowing me. I just decided to do dishes at like 12:30 at night.
Why?
Because I was like, I probably should get these done or I've not got to do them because I've not got. This is probably the only time I've got to do these dishes all weekend.
But yeah.
Yeah, what?
Good time was had.
A good time was had. I had good fun with Bo. Had a great weekend. Said it was one of the best weekends of his life. Just we didn't even really. I mean, obviously spent the full weekend with each other, but it wasn't even as like he was still at school Thursday,
yeah,
Friday. He was just at the wrestling school, me and Saturday and Sunday and stuff like that. But it's good getting to spend time together and stuff like that. I mean, he obviously got to come along to the hardcore wrestling show that we done on the Sunday as well. He really enjoyed that. But it was good. The shows on Sunday, we had 2 shows on Sunday. That's what Georgia was alluding to. The first one was our normal family friendly wrestling events. We ran it on in the Fairfield Club at 1 o'clock. It's kind of like something we've never really done this before. I'd maybe, if I was going to do it like that, I'd maybe push it back a wee bit later. I think maybe the fact that the football and that played with the young the Wayne's teams and stuff like that. I was probably maybe like missed out on a couple of people that would usually come because they had to go to their footballs or their other clubs and stuff like that. So I'd maybe push it back a bit, but I did think the earlier times for the early show was really good. And then later on, so I wrestled the guy Luke Jacobs that I was talking about. We had a new cruiserweight champion and Joe Lando. Steg ended up getting a week off, so Xander had to team up with.
I was wondering what was going on.
Just had a week off, so Xander had to team up with CJ West and Foreign as the new and improved Govan team. Final of the weakest link's been set for Mary Hull, Big Strong Man, and Mark McAllister against each other. That happened that night as well. So a lot of things will happen in the CPW that is going to go into other shows, so you should check it out. But also I think we had a lot of new fans at that show and a lot of people were very, very impressed, so I think we're going to see a lot of new people at shows going forward. And then obviously on to the night time, which was the Hardcore Wrestling from Glasgow, my first ever adult only wrestling show that me and Georgia have ran. Obviously Georgia wasn't there on it, but she's obviously done a lot of the groundwork for it. She had all the wages sorted for people and stuff like that, so that was one less stress for me. but it was a really successful event. It started off at 6 o'clock for the VIP doors. We had JB Dub versus Marianne's man. I was about to say that's because I've got him saved in that.
You've got to say JB Dub versus Marianne.
No, maybe, technically. I was going to say Marianne's man because that's what I've got Gav saved under on his phone. My phone, Marianne's man. No, but Rex and JB Double versing each other, and Marianne actually ended up getting involved. The two of these, pre-show match, first match in the show, but it was before the actual main crowd got in. And they're doing promos each other, talking about their wife and their wains and all that. And I was like, fuck's sake, guys, man, leave that to the main show, man. No. Talk about taking each other up the road in body bags and stuff like that, man. Like, calm down. But it ended up getting to the point where Marianne got involved, kicked JB Dub in the balls, and flung him in the ring so Gav Rex could get the win. Keep dead naming them. What's the word?
What?
When you name somebody with their...
Oh, you've told me what that word is before.
Oh well. So that happened. That was a good start to the show. We done our first ever. So the things that were different about the show. Obviously, it's an adult only show, but I want to.
People are interested to know what's different.
What's different about it. So obviously, it was an adult only. It's only adults were all doing technically well because Bo was in the crowd. Bo was in the crowd watching, but that's because George wasn't here.
He was on stepdad juice.
It had to. The comedians and the commentators actually had a joke about it. When they were at MC and stuff like that. They're like, I mean, man, you're surely not 18, you know what I mean?
What'd they say? What'd they say?
Well, I know. Bo's like, I'm Ravie Davie's boy, you know what I mean? Like, we know that. I'll just try to have a laugh in the crowd. And I told him to say on the mic as well that, a lot of you have been asking if your kid can come. The only reason he's allowed to come is because if he does get hurt, he's not going to sue his stepdad. If anything happens. Because the added element, the main reason for the adult only thing that kids can't go is because the added element of the danger, like the extra weapons, the blood and stuff like that, it doesn't cover under 16-year-olds, unfortunately. So if Bo did get hurt, then you just need to take it to chin, they comp claims for him, know what I mean? But then, so the different things was it, right? Obviously, over 18s, that was obviously a different style anyway, wrestling, because obviously a lot of wrestling shows, and I think that does put off a lot of people. I've probably got a lot of fans in the 18 to 34 demographic, and it probably puts them off coming to see me wrestling, thinking that they're going to have to let. They've not got to be able to enjoy themselves, they've not got to be able to express themselves much because there's kids there. So the adult only thing, that's the start, but I also wanted to make it different in other ways. So what I done was I started a new thing called Wrestling Bingo, which to my knowledge has never been done anywhere before in wrestling. And what it is I got like 75 wrestling moves and chants and these different things and put them in a random bingo generator to make cards of 25. So you'd have on your card, say for example, I'll just say like this line, right? It'll be like chop, DDT, this is awesome chant, Hurricane Rana, and blood. If you'd seen somebody get blood, get hit with a chair, get a Hurricane Rana, get in the other things, you would have a line, you would shout bingo, and you'd win 50 quid. Then whoever got the full house, they'd win 100 quid, so if they got them all. And then there was like prizes if you get a line after and stuff like. So there was like tickets to a show, signed poster, a Ravie Davie t-shirt, just these different things. And I feel like it went very well. It was something added, it made it interactive well, made you keep your eyes on the action, but also it made you chant and interact with the crowd and the wrestlers and stuff like that more. Like if I was in the crowd playing the bingo, I'd have been like, the wrestler here, mate, say you needed one line, you can buy the wrestler, oh mate, I'll give you a 10 if you do this move so I can get my line and stuff like that. And then the other thing that we done differently was we done live commentary. So at CPW we don't even do commentary like, for our shows, which I would like to eventually get to our shows. So when we put it online, there's like somebody commentating over it so they can explain to the fans what's happening. But we done it live in the venue, so the commentators, Magic Dave and Tarium, who one's an announcer and one's a comedian, were over the microphones talking while the match was what matches were happening, really painting the picture, especially with the bingo, because some fans won't know, some people won't know what a DDT is or a Hurricane Rana, so then the commentators saying it over the mic gives them that what do you call it, that they're teaching them what wrestling is pretty much. The only thing that I would say, I really loved the commentary. I feel like some of the wrestlers were a wee bit off it at first, they weren't really into it at first, but the only thing I'd say is maybe I feel like the guys were always try to make sure there was no dead air or something like that. It's good sometimes in wrestling to let it breathe so the fans can chant and they can interact with, I feel like, the boys. And it's their first time doing it, so it's not as if
it's just trial.
It's trial and error. It's something I would like to do again, as I said. But what was the word I was looking for there? They didn't leave any dead air or something like that. So that's my only feedback I'd have for them, really. But it was really good. They just kind of, because they'd obviously never done it before, and obviously I'm paying them to do a job, they're probably thinking, oh, we're getting paid to talk here, so we need to talk the full time. And again, it's the wrestling business. Everybody's in it because they want to get themselves over, so obviously probably talk as much as they can to make sure everybody knows that they're on the right. But yeah, I really enjoyed it. And then at the end, not at the end. No, I wait. So at the end of the show, the main event was myself and Big 5-0 wrestling against Manky Frankie and the Wanderer, and that was also different because 5-0 doesn't wrestle, so he's not a wrestler. But I'll give him his due. Big ups to the guy, because after only 4 training sessions, 6 actually if you count like a couple of wee run throughs on days that weren't actually training sessions and that. So about 6 wrestling sessions, he managed to go out and do a full match, and honestly, he done better than some of the guys that have been training on the shows. There's nothing about that, but just because they think too much about actually. Well, see, he was just going out and being a showman. You know what I mean? He was going out there and being taking his time with everything and being entertaining and getting all the shouts and all that going. So that was absolutely fantastic.
And he loved it as well, didn't he?
He had the time of his life. He was telling me he's probably before it, oh man, I didn't know I've done this, can't be arsed with and all that. But now he's telling me he's probably going to come and try and do a singles match for us, know what I mean? So that's also got to try and get 50 as like a big main attraction for the hardcore wrestling shows, because I'm definitely got to do more, because not only were the fans entertained, not only was the wrestlers entertained, but actually some WWE stars were also entertained, because basically what happened was I was doing the doors and Magic Dave, the commentator, came up to us and like, we might have some guests tonight. And I was like, who? He's like, read this. And he said, Grayson Waller, Dominic Mysterio and Austin Theory might be coming tonight, but don't quote me on it. I was like, who's that? And he's like, well, basically his mate went out with a former WWE's wrestler's sister. So they'd asked her, was there anything not going on tonight? And they said, there's this show happening in Glasgow. You should go and check it out. So I'm like, no bother, know what I mean? I'm just doing the tickets, doing the doors for everybody. And then somebody comes in, I'm looking down at my phone as I'm doing the tickets, so I go like, you got tickets, mate? And I just hear an Aussie accent going like, yeah, mate, got tickets. And I'm like, well, I look up, and I see it's Grayson Wall, and he's like showing me the picture of the poster he's got, know what I mean? And he's like showing me it, and I'm like, thank you. Thank you. I couldn't obviously help me. I was speechless. No, I was like looking up at them. I was like, and usually I'd obviously try and be funny and have a joke. No, I mean, I was just sitting there like, fucking hell. And obviously I've shook the horn and said thank you. I was like, if he's going there, like, we just want to sit up at the back and that and just be left alone. I was like, cool. Like, if he's want, I'll sort you with table service and stuff like that. And like, nah, mate, we're all good. We'll just go up to the bar ourselves. So I was like, alright, I'll just leave them alone. I don't want to pester them and stuff like that. But I think that was to my detriment. Usually, even the boys in the group chat were saying it, who always moan at me for like being too forward with stuff and they don't like how I do this shit. They even said, you probably should have went up and asked them for a wee photo, but I didn't want to be like that guy, you know what I mean? Like, oh, please fucking get stuff on my socials and that. I think if anything, they'll appreciate it more. If they're ever in Scotland again, I've got a show or something like that. Maybe other guys for the WWE will show up because they've heard that, oh, if you go to this guy's shows, they don't annoy you. We Danny Mullet even gives you a snus, know what I mean? Dominic Mysterio got a snus off we Danny Mullet.
Really?
I seen me Danny Mullet take one, he's like, can I have one of them, bro?
Really? Wow, there you go.
We Danny Mullet, man.
See, when you, David had voice noted me to say that they 3 had come in, and that way I was like, shut up, but then I replayed the voice note and I could tell in his voice he was telling the truth. And then he sent me a photo and I was like, that's wee Danny Mullet in that picture.
Nah, wee Danny Mullet was sent to be security, you know what I mean?
I know, I said that to him, I was like, I bet you never thought you'd be fucking looking after the 3. He's like, no way. He's like, it's been the maddest night of my life. He's just like absolutely loving it.
I'm obviously telling everyone to play cool and they're all no playing cool and all, I mean, like,
no wonder though.
Caden's like that.
What the fuck?
No, I mean, everybody's pure hangman, not. I'm like, oh, calm down, man. He's on it to calm down. I actually think it was the wrestlers that fucked it and scared them away, to be fair. Because once it was just about to be half time, they all went up to them like, oh, how you doing, and all that. And then 2 minutes later, they got up and left, you know what I mean?
Because they obviously knew it was about to start getting rowdy.
And then obviously somebody's like to them outside, fucking Grayson Waller and Dirty Dominic Mysterio, fucking cunts, wow, wank, whatever. So they probably were better off leaving, because I think once the wrestling, all the fans realised what's the commotion there, and once that happened, they were going to probably get pestered. But I messaged Grayson Waller to say thank you, and he actually replied to me and said that if he's ever back over, he'd maybe like to come down and see the school and that as well. So here's hoping. After a heavy shitty week, I finding out that I wasn't going to be an extra for the WWE, it was made that wee bit better by knowing that it's not just the WWE talent scouts that have got their eyes on me, it's also the wrestlers of the WWE that have got their eyes on me. So maybe I've fucked it for being an extra, but I'm sure if I was able to get signed with the WWE anyway, it'd be above the guy that sorts the extras pay grade anyway. So maybe the dream isn't needed, no, I mean, maybe we still can get there, and I think that's a good way to finish it off, because we've still got a lot more to talk about, but we're better off leaving that for the episodes. Courtesies wee cameras need to have a wee fag break, and we need to go and change, but I need to take my jumper off so I don't look like I've got the same clothes on, and Georgia's got to look like a tramp.
Makes a change.